Here are some of the top things that we've seen help so many beginner creators when they just feel like their content isn't getting to that point where it feels good enough.
And they're easy. We're gonna talk about easy level ups.
The first one is LUTs. You may not even know what a LUT is, but essentially it's just a filter that goes over your video files that makes it look a little more custom or special.
What does LUT even stand for?
Hey Siri, what does LUT stand for? LUT, or lookup table, is an image file containing a mapping between colors in one color space to those in another. These files are used by video editing software to change how the footage appears on screen. So that sounds really complicated, but really it's just like putting a filter on your video. It's as easy as that.
So here's a pro tip from our editor, Andrea. She says when you are doing something creatively that you haven't done before, LUTs is a great example, that you want to change it, but not too much.
It's easy to want to go all in. If you find an effect that just looks really cool to you, it probably is really cool, but just tone it back. Because here's the trick. You want it to look good, but only to the point where people don't actually notice it. If people start noticing that your footage looks dramatic, but it's not like in a good way, they're going to let you know. So you really want people to go, wow, this looks kind of fancy or premium, but not what the heck 2011 Instagram kind of feel. You don't want that. Next up, we have pre-made customizable title templates. Titles is something that most people put in their videos at some point or another. Whether you're education or entertainment, everyone's putting titles or words on the screen at some point. And usually video editors will have some sort of simple version of titles for free. And that's great, but usually what that means is you have to re-customize them every single time you want to put something up on the screen. You can go buy some pre-made title templates that will just make it so that you don't have to remake exactly what you need every single time. There's tons and tons of packs of these out there online that you can go find. You could also make some yourself. That's something that we've done here. We have this whiteboard desk title template that we really like. And that was just something that we made up. I think Cody like snapped a picture of this table and had it all arranged nicely. And that's just something we can go back to and use over and over again that feels custom to our channel. It's not something that someone actually has an exact replica of.
Yeah, so if you're noticing that you're kind of trying to do a title in a similar way multiple times, figure out if you can turn it into a template. That's pretty cool, and it'll save you so much time.
Yes, I love that there's like the time savings element and the custom element to it. It's a really good tip.
Okay, sound effects. Hear me out. You've probably thought about it a little bit, but not enough. Most people are not utilizing this enough, and it can make such a big difference. Like if you watch a video without any of the sound effects, even if it has the audio of the speaking, with a really good video, like it'll have so many good sound effects and it's so immersive. And it's one of those things, I think, where you don't notice it per se, but it makes you feel like you're there. It makes the video feel like satisfying and interesting, and people are really underutilizing this.
Yeah, so YouTube expert Daryl Eves talked about this, I think at Vid Summit. He talked about the value of sound effects and how it's an engagement driver. It like re-engages people with your content. And it's not really, you can add some sound effects like while you're recording, but most of them will be added in post. Maybe when a title flies onto the screen or leaves the screen, or maybe, you know, I hit the table and I don't want the actual sound of the table, I could add a table sound effect. Those types of things re-engage the viewer, and it just makes your video feel more real. I think this one's so cool. Go watch some of your favorite YouTubers, and I guarantee you, even if you didn't notice it before, they are using lots of sound effects.
And you can make your own.
What's that a sound effect of?
That was somebody
breaking their bones.
Breaking their bones. That's what it was.
Good one. In all seriousness, this is something that I've done before. We talk about some of these things and you might think, okay, well, cool. You guys have some more experience than we do. This isn't something that I could personally do myself. That's not true. So many of these things that we're sharing, there's probably like a simpler version of, you know, like the custom title templates. I told you, like, we just took a picture of this table. You could totally set something up like that on your own counter. Or for the sound effects, Julia kind of made a joke about making your own. I've literally done that. I didn't want to go buy some, you know, pack of sound effects. So we just started making our own sound effects, and it was hilarious. It was something that kind of became a little bit of an inside joke on the channel. And it was just me with my microphone or like my phone, and I would make the desired sound effect. It was embarrassing, but it also just added to the originality of the content. So find a simpler way to do some of these things. You don't have to just do exactly what we're talking about. You can go figure out a way that's actually within your wheelhouse.
That applies with a lot of different things, not just the sound effects. Like, for example, if you've seen those videos where there's like two people, maybe you're talking to yourself, that's kind of difficult to do. Unless you have a good amount of editing experience, you're not gonna know how to do that, and it will take a long time to learn. But You could just do like a split screen thing where you're in 2 different rooms or 2 completely different camera angles. Like there are ways to get the same thing you want to get a lot easier sometimes. And so just think of what is a way I could do this, even if it's not the original way you'd like to do it.
Yeah. Okay, the next one that I want to share with you guys is so simple, but it makes your video feel premium. And it's called a J-Cut. Those of you who are familiar with it probably use it a lot because it is something that's really great for video. But basically what it is that your audio from the next clip of whatever it is that you filmed starts coming in before the video actually starts showing. So the viewer will hear your voice talking before you start actually seeing the person talking. And you guys can see a clip of that right here.
It's so easy to do. There's lots of tutorials. And I've even seen entire YouTube videos about this that weren't exactly tutorials. They were just making an entire video explaining, in theory, how important this is because, yeah, it makes a big difference, but it's such a quick thing once you learn how to do it. Proxy media. The way proxy media works is slightly technical, but the big idea is that you can process a bigger file size, especially if you're doing multiple camera angles and your computer doesn't have a lot of computing power, with a computer that's not nearly as good. And this will save you so much time. It's gonna take a little bit of time to learn, but it's so worth it because once you understand how to use it, it's pretty much copy and paste from video to video, and then you're gonna not run into as many problems in the future because there are so many problems that can arise from a computer that isn't quite able to process the files that you have. This will make everything run smoother, so it's worth it. Figure it out.
Yeah, this one is just a simple Google search away. No matter what editing software you're using, it's probably going to allow you to use proxy media. So just go find a tutorial and just learn the process, and at that point, it's just repetition.
Yeah, we're telling you to find tutorials because there are so many different like editing softwares.
And they're good.
Yeah.
Good softwares and great tutorials out there. It would be kind of silly of us to remake every single one of those tutorials.
Yeah, they're already out there. Things change with computers and versions and everything. So editing can be one of the most frustrating things or one of the most fun parts if you really get it down. And I think the key is to focus on the basics. Like any skill, you might see something really flashy and want to learn that, but if you don't understand the basics, you're gonna run into trouble when you're trying to do the more advanced thing. This applies to like so many skills with learning, and editing is no different. You really have to have the basic principles down so well that you can do them in your sleep, and then you can gradually learn the more fancy stuff, and it won't be frustrating, it won't be hard, and it will be fun because you understand how everything works from a really basic level, just like math or other things in life. So figure out your path all the way from uploading the files to doing the rough cut and the LUTs, and get it down pat so that you understand your process, you're not frustrated by it, and then start adding in these more complicated things. These are easy though.
Okay, challenge for all of you guys. Let us know down in the comments what your favorite editing hack is, but it can only take like 1 to 2 extra minutes. We want to keep these simple. We'll see you guys later.